Hey guys, Ash here coming at you today with an update to the bowler or the mirror bowler walk at Town Hall 9. Now I brought you guys a video on this a few days ago. Really love this strategy, but I've changed things around. I've added some back-end hogs, and I've also reduced it by 1 healer because 8 healers in a raid is a little bit much. You don't really need all 8 of the healers. You don't need 4 on the queen and 4 on the bowlers. You can go get away with 3 on the bowlers, especially if you deploy them in the right spot on the map where the defensive point damage isn't too high. So let's go ahead and get into this first replay here on my Town Hall 9 account. And you can see here I've added the back-end hogs, 6 of them, to my army. I find a lot more utility out of that versus the 8th healer. So a lot of you guys commented on my previous video saying that, you know, it was an awesome strategy, really looked cool, but 8 healers are a lot to bring onto a raid, and I definitely agree, so I reduced it by 1, and it might not seem like much, but at the end of the day, I think that extra housing space really does make a big difference. I'm still able to take quite a few Valkyries with me here, so you can see if you missed the last video, you should probably go ahead and watch that beforehand, but the idea here is to go ahead and make a funnel for your kill squad, which all it is the king and some Valkyries as well as some wizards. Now, it's hard to gauge the direction of bowlers as is, and when you have 2 walks in one raid, so the bowler walk and the queen walk, your chances are obviously doubled that one of those goes in an unanticipated direction. So don't worry about that. That's really not the end of the world. That's why you delay a few seconds. You can see about 10 seconds or so between the queen walk and the bowler walk. That way, if the queen goes in a direction that you weren't expecting, you can just adjust your raid on the fly. Really, on any queen walk attack or any bowler walk attack, you should always have 2 plans. One plan for the direction that you think they're gonna go, and another one planned if she goes in the absolute opposite direction. At least you have a plan B and you know your game plan from there on out. I always make 2 plans in my head, especially with these raids. That's why, like I said, getting back to the point there, is that's why I delay the queen walk. Make sure she's going in the direction I want her to go, and then I'll pivot 90 degrees and start my bowler walk, and then I'll funnel the rest of the kill squad into the base. It's a really fun attack, and the bowlers and the queen almost always stay alive because they're going around the perimeters, the opposite perimeters of the base, or sometimes the queen might merge into the army. But either way, with all those healers on the board, your troops tend to stay alive, especially the 2 troops that started out the attack, the archer queen and the bowlers. So let's go ahead and go on to my second replay. It was a little bit lower on the war map, so nothing too impressive in terms of the base. However, I just want to keep sharing this army composition and just my philosophy, or what I'm looking for, I should say, on a base before I go ahead and attack. So obviously, I want to keep out of the range of the expos, as always. So I'm starting here this one actually goes in a strange direction, right? So I'm starting from 9 o'clock with the queen, and then at this point, I'm pretty confident she is going to move to the archer tower, to the dark elixir collector, and then to the elixir pump. But instead, I just miscounted those spaces, and she actually moves towards the barracks, so she never joins up with the army. But luckily, the bowlers do head towards 9 o'clock, so I'm able to start my raid from that perfect jump location right between that elixir and gold storage. So kind of like I said, guys, about half of these raids, one of either your queen or the group of bowlers will join your kill squad into the core of the base. Not the end of the world. In this clan castle, there was a max level lava hound. We are starting to see those a little bit more. They were pretty much extinct in clan castles, or very close to defensively, before the update. Now we're starting to see lava hounds return a little bit here and there on Town Hall 9 bases. They do take a bit longer to take down, and the pups have higher DPS, so there is a benefit, I think, to switching to lava hounds. But as you can see, it's not a big deal for this army comp because I have the Valkyries and obviously the Barbarian King are my kill squad. Neither of them are even going to bother with the lava hound, and it stays alive the entire raid, just like you'd expect. So I trickle in the back-end hogs, you can see, and I'm just finding so much more use very late in the raid with the hogs versus those extra army camp spaces for 1 additional healer, and I believe I was carrying 1 additional Valkyrie or a couple wizards. But either way, I'm finding much more value out of those 6 back-end hogs just to help you with a trouble area. Half the time, it's not even the area you might have anticipated before the raid, having to send your your hogs in, but if you wait till you're about 75% or so destroyed on a village, you can kind of assess the base and it will be obvious where to dodge possible giant bombs from there on out. I will show you the other variation before I let you guys go today. This one, Gorilla here, he actually came up with this strategy and he's been having a lot of success with it. I think maybe 2 or 3 wars in a row now with all 3 stars, I think, except for one fail, very close to 3-star. Really, the guys over at Elite Academy are just incredibly innovative, and it's awesome because it's one of our newest clans, but they take clan war some of the most serious out of all our clans in the entire alliance. So a huge shout out to those guys, and great props for the amazing strategies and videos and attacks lately I've been sharing from you guys. So getting back to this raid here, the reason I'm bringing it to you, because let's face it, it's a pretty awful base design, but it just kind of illustrates how long you can let your queen and the bowlers walk if you want to. You're gonna see he waits till about 50% destruction until he deploys the kill squad from the north. And the funny thing about this raid too is that up until about 45% into the raid, he doesn't lose a unit, unless I missed like an archer or something, but I don't think so. I don't think he loses, he hasn't lost one troop yet, maybe one wizard, I don't even know. But as far as the bowlers and the queen, he gets 45% destruction before anybody dies, or 43%. So it was just such a fun attack to watch, and it just goes to show you how long you can let the bowlers and the queen walk on opposite sides, how much percentage they'll get off a base, especially these trophy bases, and just how much time they'll have left on the clock, because it's not as long as you'd think, because essentially, you know, on a queen walk, a normal queen walk at Town Hall 9, you can't let it go much longer than about 30 seconds or so in most cases, but when you're doing a queen bowler walk, you're having double the offensive output, so you can really go theoretically up to a minute into a raid in certain cases here. So I just thought that was pretty funny. Everything doesn't go exactly as planned from here on out, but either way, he's still able to pull off the 3-star, and you can see the spell composition is actually, I really prefer this, obviously depending if I need the 2 jump spells or not, but I do like bringing at least 1 heal spell, especially because I'm bringing the back end hogs, so I can kind of play it by ear once I'm in the base if I'm going to be able to need that heal spell. I usually plan it out ahead of time to use on the Valkyries, but sometimes the Valkyries just make such quick work of a base that you can just go ahead and use the heal on the hogs and the rage on the Valkyries instead if you didn't need it on one of your walks. So guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks for all the positive feedback and comments you've been giving lately. It seems like the community has been so awesome to me lately, and I hope that the content has been up to your standards, and certainly that it remains so in the future. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care.
We don't play for fame, we don't play for cash. We just play for the glory and the crash of the ash.